Where do I begin with this one? Oh man, Blumhouse? What the fuck? So, this month we see the release of the remake of Black Christmas, brought to us by Blumhouse. I don't give a shit. If you're not familiar with the original Black Christmas, it came out in 1974 and it's considered the grandfather of the slasher genre. Yes, John Carpenter's Halloween 1978 is the most famous slasher film, but Black Christmas has explicitly been said to be a huge influence on Halloween, said by John Carpenter himself. Now, the original Black Christmas is a Canadian made slasher film focused on a sorority house and a killer that's remained a mystery throughout the entire film that's essentially killing them from within the house itself. If you're familiar with the whole twist saying that the killer's inside the house, that's the movie that term originated from. It is still to this day an impressive film in so many ways. One of the reasons is that the killer is never really identified in the film. I mean, you get a brief look at what his face might look like, and there is speculation on who it could be, but it's never said, it's just remained a mystery throughout the entire film. And of course, there is the ending of the film, which I won't go into detail about the ending, but it is still one of the creepiest, most unsettling endings of any kind of horror film like that. So, how did this film fuck it up? I should probably move this laptop. I thought I wanted to do it like that, but I want to do it like this now. So, this remake was announced actually earlier this year, back in like June, July, something like that. And pretty soon after that announcement, it went straight into filming. And you can tell that this film was rushed. I can't remember who directed this film, who also co-wrote this film. But if this film is any indication of this other director's work, who's a female, then I am seriously concerned about what her other films must be like. So, this version of Black Christmas, again, focuses on the sorority house, but there's also a fraternity in the mix, and of course a college professor in the mix as well, and there's a cult. If it seems like I'm giving away a big spoiler, the trailer gave it away. Yes, there is no mystery of who the killer is. There is no suspense about who it could be. No speculation. The fucking trailer gave it away. Why? Oh my god. So, in case you're going to tell from the trailer, it is a very heavy in its social message. Now, there are a lot of films that have social messages attached to them, and a lot of them usually can weave it into the story pretty well and cleverly, in fact. This is a social message with a rushed movie attached to it. This movie is the equivalent of like one of those college students that thinks they are the expert of a certain subject or certain topic and thinks that their way of thinking is the correct way and they kind of shove in other people's faces. This is basically the movie equivalent of that. If you've seen the Cinema Snobs midnight screening of the film, it was mentioned that this was basically what if Lisa Simpson wrote a slasher film. And I can. You know what? No, I mean, Lisa Simpson, she can get away with writing a film similar to this because she's a young girl, doesn't really know how to write movies that makes a horror movie good, but also, I think even she would say this movie is too much. What's that, Quachi? You're concerned about how my reaction to the film might be coming across according to its social message? Okay, that was a weird way of saying, but Quachi is concerned that my poor reaction to this film is about the message itself. And let me just say no. I am in full support of having movies with strong female characters and with messages that help empower females in the real world. There are a lot of movies that have done similar things like that in the past that have done it really well, and I highly respect them for that. But the thing about those other movies is that they knew they had to make an interesting movie first, followed by a social message relating to feminism that can be cleverly woven into it. This is not that. In terms of a standalone movie, it does not work. It is Rush. This movie has a PG-13 rating, and it's a slasher movie. I'm not saying you can't make a good horror movie that's PG-13, but it's gotta be something like a supernatural horror film or a psychological horror film. Slasher movies are known and famous for their blood, gore, and violence, and you can tell this movie was originally filmed to be R, but for some odd reason I can't comprehend, it's PG-13 for some reason. It got cut down, and you can clearly see that. And I know, like, when it comes to like the fraternity that's in this movie and like the college professor that supports them, they're supposed to be like the patriarchy and the bad people. I know they're supposed to be unlikable, but there are a lot of sayings and expressions and terms in this film that are so blatantly put in just to get their damn message across. It is a little funny how bad it is. And the third act with the sorority against the fraternity, you mess with the Ron sisters from the trailer. That third act is enjoyable in its insanity. And there are some truly sexist things said in this film that come from the bad guys, granted, and supposed to be because they're the bad guys, but just so fucking out there. And the lead actress in this film, I don't know what the actress's name is, but I know her character's name is Riley. You can tell she's really trying with this material to try and play it straight. And that's the weird thing. This could have worked if it was a parody movie. But no, it plays it straight, which is so baffling. But do you know, okay, but do you know what really frustrates me about this film? I've already gone into some detail about how this doesn't work as a standalone film. As a Black Christmas remake, it does not work. I have yet to actually watch the 2006 remake of Black Christmas where they actually use the same characters kind of from the original but just go more into the backstory of the killer. I have not seen that movie yet. But even I could tell that remake has to be preferable from what I've seen here. This Blumhouse remake does not get why the original Black Christmas is so beloved, why it still stands as a great movie even to this day. It does not get what made it why the original movie was so good. It does not get how it established good atmosphere and mood. It does not understand what makes for good, interesting, likable characters. Let alone grounded and somewhat realistic characters. It does not know how to create suspense and mystery. It does not know what makes for a good antagonistic group, a good group of killers, or even just a good single killer. Why, Blumhouse? You've made some great movies in recent years. Why did you do this to Black Christmas? I know Black Christmas does not get a lot of the recognition that it deserves. I'm talking about the original. I understand it doesn't get a lot of mainstream attention and recognition and respect, but it really should. And I hope some people that watch this Blumhouse movie end up checking out the original just to see how much better the original is. Okay, Quachi, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Hopefully, the next couple videos I do are a little bit more relaxing. See you guys next time.